today we have an amazing guest on Let's Talk Show, Ridima Wali. She has been wonderful in terms of building the capabilities to various organizations and various industries. Hi, Ridima. Thank you so much for joining here. How are you doing?
Hi Pankaj, I'm doing great and thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, Ridima, the first question is quickly share a brief about yourself, your journey, what all things you do, how do you really help people?
Pankaj, my name is Ridima Wali. I'm the founder and CEO at Naira Leadership Consulting. I've been in this space of leadership development and executive coaching for the last 10 and a half years. In fact, 1st Jan 2024, I'm going to cover 11th year. So, we enable organizations and businesses in really four arenas, Pankaj. One is enabling them to communicate well and influence better. So, that's the first realm. The second realm is in the journey of being a talent multiplier, because one of the things we're seeing is that a lot of leaders at some point or the other get very insecure about parting their knowledge with their teams, thinking if they really give it all to their teams, what would be their relevance. So we enable them understand how, if you start parting this knowledge and building the team capability, you're going to release a lot of bandwidth for future and create bigger impact. The third realm is strategy, where the idea is really to simplify strategy and futuristic thinking for mid to senior level leadership. And the fourth arena is enabling them to think differently and doing different things, which is our creativity pillar. So we enable our leaders who are essentially mid to senior level leadership, typically between 5 to 18 years of experience in these four arenas, through master classes, experiential learning, simulation, so on and so forth. But we really believe that it's important to make learning profound and at the same time fun, because people are already busy, and when they come for learning, it should not look like a burden. They should be looking forward to this learning. So that's what we do, Pankaj, and I think I thank God every day for enabling me to be in this profession, because when you really enjoy what you do, there is no stress. A lot of people ask me, you're traveling so much, you work on the weekends, it will impact your mental health, so to say, especially my young team. And I keep on telling them, you can't bifurcate work with life. You need to integrate work in life. So the paradigm of work-life balance is now an irrelevant one, because it was relevant maybe 30 years back when we didn't have tech of the world. But a lot of time today, while you are, let's say, traveling, you can entertain yourself watching Netflix on your way. And while you're at home and you get that space to think, you can work. So I think I'm a big advocate of work life integration rather than work life balance. I really don't think it's relevant in today's day and age.
Wonderful. Ridima, there are certain differences are there. Now, in the organizational setup, when you
Hmm.
conduct a training program,
Hmm.
and you want your participant to be there in the training room, you want your participant to be active in the training room, you want your
Yes.
participant to really participate into whatever the trainer or a facilitator conduct. So now my question, another very interesting question.
Hmm.
I recently wrote a post on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
There are two type of leaders. When it comes to leaders, the top leaders, the
Hmm.
training pro training leaders and no training leaders. Some leaders are there, don't they feel that training can't do anything to their people, and they always resist whenever training comes. Whenever somebody comes, and let's take an example, they taken help from the externals, the consultant and like this. They always say, no, 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 no training program. It's always an expense, right? As well as compared to the other one, the leader, those who always think that training is an investment to my people. Yesterday's competency may not help my people to build the today's excellence into their own working. They need to
Yeah.
really change, right? So Ridima, in your experience, how do you change this mindset in the mind of a leader from no training to pro training? Little tricky question, but I think possibly it will be helpful
It's a
for our
very good
audience.
question. It's a very good question. So my first approach to such leaders are, and I'm talking about especially leaders at the top. Uh, Luckily for us, Pankaj, most of the leads that we have got the reference from the CEO themselves. I at times feel that in today's time, more than the CEOs, it is the human resources team which at times show some resistance, because, and I think it's not their fault too, they are meeting so many consultants, they're meeting so many service providers, they have this innate insecurity that they'll be taken for a ride, Pankaj. And there's this feeling, I'm not saying all human resources, Pankaj, but I'm seeing a lot of them today. Like, okay, what is new that you bring to the table? What is the action learning project? Well, we've done this before. No, we don't want gamify. No, we've done this before. This won't work. Show us something new. And this bias that they've been there, done that, at times is so much that it blocks them to listen. So a lot of times my tussle is not as much as with convincing the business leaders, honestly, Pankaj. It's the human resources team. And a lot of times when you're being referred, let's say by the CEO, to the human resources, one may feel that the barriers are low, but it's actually like, how do I put this? It's actually like you are in that on the airport when you are clearing the security. You remember the scan that you have to go through the scan. Imagine being put through that scan for 3 months. That's the feeling I get at times, honestly, Pankaj, because they're constantly evaluating you. What is it that you bring to the table that my consultant didn't bring? And I feel at times that bias of being young and being a woman is with human resources. Like, do you really know what you're talking about? And what's the difference you're bringing to the table? The best part at that point, Pankaj, for me is to stay invested in the game. I don't pay heed to the skepticism. I engage with them. I answer their questions very patiently. And I often tell them that, look, we are going on a 3 months journey or a 6 months journey. Let's see how the first 2 months go about. If it doesn't work for you, I'll pay back your money. I'll just take the money for the facilitation because it's a lot of effort, and you fire me from the project if you don't think it's that doable. And I think that's when the shift happens, because I know my content, I know what I bring to the table, I have my experience. And honestly, Pankaj, I think in today's day and age, the concept of age at workplace is irrelevant, because you see there are so many YouTubers, there's so many Instagram influencers who are telling people like you and me about how you should be living our lives, about how we should be engaging with people, about how business should be made. If you go on YouTube, right before you can skip ad, there are these advertisements of people, right, coming from AI, how to make business presentations, how to make Excels, how you can leverage Chat GPT. Those people are what, 18, 19, at the most 22. You end up taking those courses, at least I have. So I tell people, and oftentimes, after my equity has built with people, when I'm engaging with CEOs also, I tell them your net worth at the age of 50 is so many $1 million. There are so many millionaires YouTuber who are much more rich than you. Now, it may sound very counterintuitive. It may sound like I'm actually closing doors of my business, but it actually makes them think, Pankaj. The concept of age is no longer relevant to the work we bring. I'm not talking about maturity, leadership maturity. I'm talking about the workplace competence, Pankaj. So for human resources, I've realized telling them it's money back guarantee really helps. When we are engaging with the CEO, I tell them, now you've got a mandate from human resources, you will need to do it, correct? Because if you don't do it, you are going to get questioned by your board, but that's so many learning of ours, why it was not being done. I say, if you want, I'm going to recommend you 5 other people for this program. Take a call. So at that juncture, Pankaj, what is really important is to disarm your client of any biases. And I often tell, we come naked, we die naked. What are we trying to hide? Nothing. So the moment you try to influence them, oh, I'm a Marshall Goldsmith centered, stakeholder centered coach certified, I'm ICF certified, or the fact that I've done my balance scorecard certification from Palladium Group, nothing enters their ears. So the best part I think I do at that point is, यार आप ये मेरी qualification है, ये मेरा experience है, ले लो. नहीं चाहिए, मैं आपको 5 लोग recommend करूंगी क्योंकि आपको करना तो है ही program. So exhibiting this level of complete equanimity and complete unbridled attachment from the project, that has really helped. And over a period of time, it has also helped me build credibility. And it's a beautiful journey from a time when let's say a human resource or a CEO who was skeptic about you becomes your brand ambassadors and he or she refers you to other companies. So I think I take that as a big compliment, Pankaj.
Ridima, my next question is, in your consulting business, how do you
Hmm.
handle a lot of no's?
Hmm. I think with time, patience comes in. I'll be honest, I was a very different person in 2020. So I think it was sometime in September 2020 that I had made up my mind that I'm going to start off my own. And between September 2020 to around December, and it was like, there's a concept I've heard from a gentleman known as Jimmy Jain, who is the founder at Square Consulting. And he said the first 6 years of his life, he was managing P2P, which is president to being a peon. I think for me, that phase was between those 3 to 4 months when I was building my verticals and building these different programs. And what happened, no, Pankaj, when you put in so many lone hours, you are just sitting on the table by yourself in front of your laptop, hoping your endeavor will work and really trying to crystallize all your learnings into presentations, footnotes, really writing about it and trying to reflect on your own journey. So, to answer your question, Pankaj, is there are two types of no's. One you know get when the idea is not that good. ये पहले देखा हुआ है यार इसमें नहीं करना है हमको. So you ask the client or ask people, okay, what is it that you don't like? And in this entire journey, you have to keep your ego under your soul, under the soul, the feet wala soul. You cannot have an ego driven approach here because if 10 people are telling you the same thing, that means you really need to improve. And the second no is you did your best and maybe it's not relevant to the client. Maybe the client feel your equity will not set with that person. The vibe will not work. They've done this before. So I don't feel bad when I have done my best and someone is saying no because I know the product is good. Today or tomorrow it's going to find its audience. But when it's a no because the products or offerings lack something, that for me makes me uncomfortable and pushes me to do more. And as serene as I may look like right now, that Pankaj rejection comes along the way, handling them is never easy. But I often ask myself, okay, you got rejected because we lost out a lot of mandates when we were 8 months old as a company because we don't feel we are not convinced about you. You're too young to be doing this. आई जस्ट फेल्ट ओके यार एक दिन ना इस पे आप बिता लो आपको बियर पीनी है बियर पी लो आपको टीवी देखना है रोना है रो लो बट एक दिन के बाद यू कांट मिस आउट ऑन योर प्रोडक्टिविटी फॉर दिस नो and a lot of those no's for me today have become the anecdotes which I'm sharing with you and I use them legit as my content and you need to have no's in your life rejections in your life otherwise life will be too predictable and it is the bedrock of rejections that creates the foundation for innovation. आप इनोवेट तब भी करते हो ना जब आपको कुछ प्रॉब्लम लग रही है कुछ विकेट प्रॉब्लम आ रही है तो वो रिजेक्शन से ही आता है सो आई ऑफन टेल रिजेक्शंस आर द रेड कार्पेट फॉर सक्सेस एंड आई रियली बिलीव इन वो रिजेक्शन से ही आता है सो आई ऑफन टेल
Lovely. I like this. Rejection is a red carpet for success.
या
Very nice. So I always used to tell that failure is the highway to success.
वही चीज है ये भी
Absolutely, super, very nice. So the appreciation of for talent, engagement activity in the from HR side, the small. This is the for certain points which I read from the book called The Millennial. The
yes
millennial says that to understand that the traits and the behaviors of the people, you need to really modify and bring the change in. They need instant gratification. They need instant promotion. They need how flexible you are in terms of bringing all those changes and really implementing the way it is. I like the word which you use, the vulnerability.
yeah
The top leaders, they always talk about success stories. I was so successful in this, I was so successful. But do you really share your failure stories? Do you
Yeah.
really share that I was attending an interview and I got failure because I did not got selected because of this and this reason? So that's really important, that how vulnerable you are and you are talking to the people that I am just like you. And that's possibly, where people can feel that my manager, my boss, my leader is just like me. He's so approachable to me.
Yes, and it reminds me of an interesting thing. I was recently interviewing Mr. Kirti Ganurkar, founder and not founder, CEO at Sun Pharma. And he was telling me this entire story of how Dilip Sangvi sir, the founder of Sun Pharma, had actually interviewed him in Baroda, and how that entire interview was a technical interview, and Dilip sir had actually asked him a lot of mode of actions of some medicines and stuff like that. And today, from a EA role, he's become to a CEO. And one of the things he said about Dilip Sangvi sir is the constant empowerment. The constant empowerment which Mr. Sangvi gave to Mr. Ganorkar. Just imagine being a EA to a CEO. Just imagine the kind of bets Mr. Sangvi had to take on Mr. Ganorkar to lead India's largest pharma and world's fourth largest pharma. And when you sit with them, because I've interacted, I have observed the leaps up closely, I've interacted Kirti sir, uh, the humility. So I think one thing that leadership needs to embrace is sheer humility. And this understanding that the power is not with you, the power is with the team. Whenever Dilip sir is acknowledging their sales field force as a part of their R&R, which happens in foreign countries, Pankaj, and this is so inspiring. I've heard him in Dubai, I've heard him in Bangkok multiple times, and you can figure out if somebody is saying for the sake of saying or they genuinely mean it. This gentleman, whose net worth is more than $7 billion, runs a company which is at a profit every year, making revenue of $5.1 billion, is telling that, you know what, I want to thank each and every one of you for performing so well that you are giving me an opportunity to come to these countries. So I'm standing on this stage because of you guys. And he's not a very charismatic speaker that he's speaking on the top of his voice and inspiring, but you can figure out the way people are reading into his cues and the room is breaking into a thunderous round of applause. He means it. He's grateful for his team. So I often tell people and I remind myself, at times क्या होता है ना, आपके लोगों को कभी ना कभी कुछ तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम आएगी, मे बी सैलरी रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम है, काम रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम है, रिवॉर्ड रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम है, कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है. उस टाइम पे दे मे टॉक टू यू इन अ सर्टेन वे which you may find offensive, but I often remind people that you hired these people because you saw some good in it. So why don't you listen to it in its entirety and then take a call? And when I hear about Dilip sir, one thing that everyone has said is that he's never the one who will fire someone because of performance issue. He's someone who often says, what is it that we can do with this person better? Let's retain this person because we are the one who hired. And that way, if you talk to, and you must be aware of this, Pankaj, that majority of the people there, they're stuck by Sun Pharma. And I'm not only talking about the people who joined him in 1983, I'm talking about the young people also. And unanimously, because I've interacted with so many people there, they have said, we are here because of Dilip Bhai. And we are here because the same culture gets trickled down from Kirti Ganorkar. So leadership at the top, we often say that culture eats strategy for breakfast. It's because of the same reason. They are able to win in the market because they have such strong talent. And we often talk about setting vision, setting mission. And Kirti sir said that one thing I learned from Dilip Bhai is to not set any mission and vision. Because we started with 10,000 rupees capital. We are at 45,000 crores today. We would have not thought that we would have become 45,000. So the only thing we focus on is, can we become better than yesterday? And as a consultant who does a lot of strategy offsite to create mission, vision, values for organizations, it came as a complete surprise for me. Being better than yesterday. So to your question, Pankaj, as you're saying leadership is shifting, it's the appreciation for talent. And it's really about, and it happens with me too, Pankaj, because my team is very young. At times, you need to give them this project because it's going to help them in their development, but they'll be like, no, why am I doing it? How is it helping? This is not helping, the usual things. And at that point, and this conversation was happening 3 to 4 days back only, यहाँ मेरे टीम मेंबर ने बोला, मैम मैं नहीं फैसिलिटेशन करूंगा, मैंने नहीं पहले किया, मुझे नहीं पता है, मैं फेल हो गया तो क्या होगा? मैंने कहा फेल ही होगा यार, कौन सा तेरा प्रमोशन इस पे होने वाला है, हो जा फेल, कौन सा हमारा क्लाइंट मतलब करोड़ों का नुकसान हो जाएगा, कोई बात नहीं. बट आई रियली, एंड मैं अभी बहुत इक्वानिमिटी के साथ आपको बोल रही हूँ, अप्रिसिएशन एक पॉइंट पे मेरी भी आवाज ऊंची हुई थी, बट After that Awaz Ucha moment, I realized, let me just drink a glass of water and just hear him out. I heard him. I knew he was not convinced, but I said, यार कर ले, अगर होगा तो सही होगा, नहीं होगा तो भी कुछ लर्निंग आ जाएगी, कर ले, तेरे पे कोई प्रेशर नहीं है. I literally had to, and like I said, it's very easy for me to tell you all of this, but at that point even my voice got raised. And then I asked him, कैसा था एक्सपीरियंस यार? कहता बड़ा मजा आया, मैंने ये एग्जांपल दिया, मैंने वो एग्जांपल दिया. So the concept of baptism by fire, till the time you're not put in those situations, you're not going to learn. I said, देख ले भाई, बोला था तेको. So, but at that point ना, I had this thing. I could have made a choice. देखा, मैंने तेको बोला था, मेरा experience है. I said, अच्छा हुआ, चलो यार, nice, work for you. Because as Gen Z, if you engage with them, देखा, मैंने बोला था मैं सही थी, they're not going to approach you. So ये constant journey है पंकज, और बहुत ही सुंदर journey है, because no day is same.
Great. How beautiful it is, the conversation with you, Ridima. And
Thank you so much.
you're provoking so many thoughts in my mind. I always tell this is about the four type of leaders, the type of leaders which are very rare in the industry to find. And these leaders are very, very successful. They never give suggestions to the people. They never share their experiences. They never share
Yeah,
their opinions. They always ask, you choose what is right for you, and you
absolutely.
come with the options. Then they said that these are the two options. These are do you have any other option? And once they choose the option, they will say, okay, wonderful, this is the option which you are choosing, do it, I am sure you will be successful. When does this person do it with their 100%, the involvement, and then he becomes successful, you will see the person will really fly like anything next time. You are building the
Absolutely.
confidence of a people. You are building, the ownership. You are giving, them the reward, award, everything, whatnot. So this is what, and the rare, these leaders are very rare in the industry. Always you will find leader is always available with the bag of, the all the experiences. If this customer is saying this, do this, I applied this. If he
Yeah.
is saying no, okay, I also face the same. So this is really important. Some of the resources for all our trainers, facilitators, or the coaches.
Okay, I think I put it on blur, but let me just put my this thing, because I didn't want a distraction. But
Library.
yeah, the first and the most natural form of learning is books. Now, a lot of people ask me how many books you have read. I think 30% of the books. There are phases in your life, like the last 1 year has been so challenging for me personally and professionally. मुझे किताब ज़्यादा पढ़ने का टाइम नहीं मिला. बट कभी कभी ना वो 15 मिनट का वक्त मिल जाता है जहां आप शांति से पढ़ सकते हो, या आप कैब में जा रहे हो पढ़ सकते हो. एंड getting that one insight from that book can really change your life. It really can, if you apply it. I often tell people, don't amass knowledge without applying it, क्योंकि वो आप भूल जाओगे आप. And really building a bridge between people and businesses. Today we have human resources who may get this feeling that their responsibility is only, let's say, the PMS part, the engagement, the festivals. Times have shifted, but I think we will really need to be a more proactive voice on the business and boardroom. If you are in the business of making people learn, you need to be good learners yourself. Interacting with fellow trainers is important, Pankaj. And the third bit would be networking. So when I say networking, Pankaj, I'm not only talking about networking of a forum and going there, meeting people, exchanging cards. I'm like, leverage LinkedIn proactively. Reach out to CEOs, like how you're reaching out to so many people. You're in HR yourself, in a healthcare sector. The networks that you'll be building today, the learnings that you'll be amassing today, will give you such sound understanding of business and how people work, that I'm sure that in 5 years from now, or you'll be much ahead of your other HR counterparts, because you have invested that kind of time. So I think those things are very important for trainers and facilitators. You need to make a shift from outer Google to your inner Google. Ask yourself those questions. What are the things that you can teach people through your experience, exposure, and expertise? Um, I'm still not certified on a lot of facilitation certifications, but that doesn't deter my confidence, because I know I'm very well read. So being well read and being a sponge for knowledge can really make up for a lot of other things you don't have. I see today trainers, if you ask them what is it that you can really teach people through your experience, expertise, and exposure. Oh, we do. planning and organizing, we do time efficiency, we do art of delegation. No, but what is it that you can really teach through your experience that becomes your forte? Not a lot of clarity. So we also at Naira Leadership Consulting, we do dealing with ambiguity, planning, organizing, efficiency and effectiveness, so on and so forth. But what is your forte? That question today and that clarity today is missing in trainers. So I think that clarity is important.
This will going to be very, very helpful for all our audience, and eagerly looking for next conversation with you very soon.
So thank you so much for your patience and considering me for this conversation. Really, really a lot of fun interacting with you, Pankaj.
Thank you so much, Ridima.